Podcasters should be joining voices for Juneteenth. That's right. Can you imagine that on the 19th of June, 2020, we are going to be celebrating Juneteenth? So, those that don't know, this is also known as Freedom Day, Jubilee Day, and Celebration Day. And this is an American holiday. This is an African American holiday, yet we still don't have it as a national holiday on the calendar. This holiday, you can look it up. Go ahead and Google Juneteenth because it's going to tell you that it marks the date of the emancipation of the last remaining enslaved African Americans in the Confederacy in the South. But it was 2 years later that it was across the board because there were a lot of slaves still in the border states like Delaware who did not receive word. So this should be a national holiday. June 19th should be a national holiday. It should be celebrated as a national holiday. And during this time of unrest, this time of protests, this is a great time to join voices to make sure that Juneteenth becomes a national holiday. We need to vote. Congress needs to know that we want this day celebrated in America. So on Saturday, June the 20th, the day after, I'm going to be hosting at 10 a.m. a Zoom chat and chew to discuss what we need to do collectively as well as individually in order to change this. How using our voice with a podcast, how using our voice with a blog can be very instrumental. So this just popped into my head today again while I was talking to Shawnice, who is an excellent, oh God, she's a wonderful website designer. She's going to be redesigning my website as well. And we were having a conversation about all that's going on, asking each other, how are you feeling? Are you sleeping? You know, because we're sleeping less. We have more stress because of all this civil unrest. So how are you doing? We're supposed to have a business meeting and we went off on a whole different tangent because we all know what's happening out there. We see what's going on, and this is not new. This is not new. And I actually told her before I went to sleep last night, I had to write down what I wanted to talk about, not only here on this YouTube video, but also what I want to write about in my blog, delblogger.com. This is the title I came up with. Then I prayed for boys. Now I pray for my boys. The daily anxiety of an African American mother. For 9 months, I prayed for boys. Now I will forever pray for my boys. Yes, that's what we do. Every time our sons leave this house, we pray that they come home safely. Been praying the same prayer forever, even when they were little ones, running around the neighborhood with other kids. I told them they couldn't do what the other little white boys did. Why? Because if something happened, my sons would be the first that they would snatch up and say that they started it. And that's just natural. When they got their driver's license, we had to talk. We actually have in their vehicles the copy of their registration, car registration, insurance is in a visor, and the visor holder, and that's where their documentation is. So if they are when, because they have been pulled over by Popo, when they go get that information, instead of reaching over into a glove box, giving them a thought that maybe they might be going there to pull out something, they reach above, hands still visible, to get their insurance information, to get their registration. Now, their license, again, is still in their wallet, but I want them to be able to have a safe stop. Not that they're doing anything wrong, but that is just the plight. Again, Then I prayed for my boys. Now I pray for my boys. So, with all that's going on, podcasting during the protest, podcasting during the pandemic, if you do not have a podcast, then you need to think about starting a podcast. Come here every day, Monday through Friday. I give you tips on starting a podcast. On Saturday on Anchor FM, I talk about podcasting. Here's the link for that. You can listen in on those 15-minute podcasts. And if you're interested, I have the Podcasting Your Purpose workbook that is available on Amazon that gives you step-by-step instruction on not only starting a podcast, but promoting a podcast, equipment for podcasting, and podcasting free on Anchor FM. And that's what we're going to talk about on Saturday, the 20th. I want you to start your podcast on Anchor FM. Why? Because I want you to be able to start it and not have to worry about the heavy lifting, meaning not having to worry about where you're going to, post it, because Anchor FM does that for you. There are on 11 platforms, including SoundCloud, Spotify, because Spotify owns Anchor. There's a bunch of SoundCloud, Castbox, all the major, any place that you listen to your podcast, you'll be able to hear an Anchor FM podcast. And if you're interested, again, if you don't want to wait for the 20th, you're interested and you want to connect with me today, tomorrow, next week, whenever, for a 30-minute complimentary call, I will be happy to get with you to see where you are, what you want to talk about, because we need to plan this. And that's what happens with the 90-minute mini podcasting coaching session. For $97, we will actually plan. Podcast planner, because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And we will work on your title, your description, your publishing dates, how you're going to promote your podcast, your schedule, the date, the topic, your guest, making sure that you have a release form for your guest. We'll talk about your artwork, all intro music, outro music, royalty-free music. We will talk about promotion. We will talk about your guest list, who you want on your guest. And we'll also talk about sponsorship. So if you're interested in connecting with me for that 90-minute mini coaching session, it's only $97. It's a great investment because collectively and individually, we have a voice, we have a vision, we have a mission, and we can change people's lives, especially during this time. So let's get together on the 20th, 10 a.m., chat and chew, Zoom call on my Podcasting Your Purpose Facebook page. If you have not asked to be a part of it, ask for that. I will get you in. I will have a printable for you to have on that day. And we're going to have a chat and chew to talk about what we're going to do as podcasters, even if you have a show or not. And if you don't have a show, you will have a printable with the steps by step, pre-launch, post-launch, and any other questions that you may have. I'm available to speak with you on that 30-minute complimentary discovery call. So send an email to info@ablakeenterprises.com and tell me that you want to sign up. Next week is free for that 30-minute discovery call. But if you want to get ready, get set for the 90-minute mini coaching session, again, $97, and you will get a copy of the Podcasting Your Purpose workbook as part of that package. You will get this. And you know what? This has the schedule. This is a podcast planner. Again, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And this helps you organizing yourself, your episodes, numbers, your guests, if you're going to do interviews, your topics, your pre-record dates. You can pre-record on Zoom, your published date, the date you're actually going to promote and publish your podcast, as well as artwork, the script, release form, and social media promotion. Because again, you want to promote this. Try it, buy it, make it, sell it. Who's that? How are you? It's Rennie from Facebook. Hello, Rennie from Facebook. Listen, so again, on June 20th, the day after Juneteenth, we're going to get together for a chat and chew so that we can decide what we're going to do collectively. We're going to have our voices heard. We want to make sure that we are promoting ourselves. We're sharing our information. We're leaving a legacy for our kids. And I invite you today to head over to listen to my podcast, which just dropped at 9 minutes ago. Every Wednesday at 1, I talk about blogging. And today I'm talking about blogging during this podcast, during this protest, why it's time to write it out, because we have so much thoughts, so much energy. We need to start writing it out or voicing it out. So again, head over to Blog Your Way to a Business Profit podcast with Elite Conversations to hear today's topic. And then on Anchor FM, on Saturdays, that's where you can find me. And again, if you want to find me on any of my social media platforms, I always tell you just use the hashtag Delaware Blogger, because I'll pop up all over the place. But again, there's my Linktree ID, Del Blogger. So again, remember, on the 19th of this month, we will be celebrating Juneteenth, the emancipation. It is not a national holiday. It should be a national holiday. It's an American holiday. It's not just African American holiday. It's history. It's history. And it should be on everyone's calendar. So we're going to get together after you do your celebrating on that Friday with your family, your friends, your bae, your boo, your churches, or whatever. Then on Saturday morning, let's connect. Let's talk about how we collectively can join voices so that we can make this a reality. So again, if you have any questions, send me an email, info@ablakeenterprises.com. Again, we're going to be joining voices for Juneteenth on Saturday, June 20th at 10 a.m. on the Podcasting Your Purpose Facebook page. It's going to be a Zoom invite. If you're interested, again, head over there, request entry, request membership. I'll invite you in, and we're going to get together and we're going to talk about this. So whatever you're doing today, I hope that you're staying safe. I hope that your family is safe. I hope everyone is safe. Again, and until the next time, stay smart, stay safe, and stay social. Still from a distance, because COVID-19 is still out there. And until the next time, have a beautifully blessed day. I'm the DE Diva, aka the Delaware Blogger. See ya.